Okay, good afternoon, Justine. Yeah, I'm just quickly reading through. So Benjamin is about to start competing at medium level, and about to start, obviously, medium level. What age is he now?
He's 10.
Okay. Yes, I see. Oh, he has. Okay, so we're beyond medium then. We're into pre-St. George. Okay, yeah, good. Okay, as ever, the first thing I like to do is to see what I refer to as the basics. And you'll have heard perhaps earlier in the session or yesterday if you were here, but okay. So my way of communicating with a horse, I'm emphasizing all the time here the inside rein is your horse's friend. In the first part of the work, we're working for the rhythm, relaxation, suppleness, and that suppleness is the relaxation of the pole that the horse can offer, a clear lateral flexion either to the inside or to the outside. When we're working on that lateral flexion at the pole, it's not with a backward pressure, it's by slightly lifting the bit on the side that you want the flexion, and then communicating down the outside rein in a touch and release fashion rather than with pressure. Now, if we have that relaxation at the pole and that throughness in the pole, relaxation therefore comes about in the mouth, and then we can activate the hind leg, and then you get the horses coming into more of a performance outline or attitude. Yeah, and from that we can then start to perform the movements. So let's first of all see you in trot, and part of that work in the trot will involve also trot, counter, counter, trot transitions. I find that a really useful exercise for getting the horses active through, and so within that work I often use the expression up, 2, 3, 4, touch, 2, 3, 4, so that your leg isn't at him all the time. Touch and take it off. Yeah? Release your hip a little bit, let a bit of fresh air under your thigh, let a little bit of fresh air between your thigh and the saddle, and then touch every 4 steps, 2, 3, 4, touch, 2, 3, and then between the touches you can take your leg away from him a little bit, get a bit of fresh air under your thigh. Up, 2, 3, 4, touch, 2, 3, 4, that's right. And then within that active step, yeah, we can work on a little bit more clear pole flexion to the left, so just working on not shoulder in, but just a little bit pole flexion left by raising the bit on the inside, and still occasionally touching with your inside leg, but at the girth, not too far back. Up, 2, 3, 4, touch, 2. Now go down the long side of our imaginary dressage arena, with a clear pole flexion left. That's right. And good, good. What I like there as he went further on down is he brought his withers up and his pole up on his own, yeah, because you maintained an active step there. That's good there. Yeah, and that's something which I, in a training and also definitely in a competition scenario when we're warming up for the dressage, you always refer to the idea that a glass of champagne should sit up there on the headpiece of the bridle, yeah, that the horse should offer you the pole flexion to the left or to the right, but that glass of champagne should stay there. Up, 2, 3, 4, touch, 2, and then the connection to the mouth is just a soft, continuous connection, so you have the acceptance of the contact, shouldn't be pressure on the tongue. Up, 2, 3, 4, and if he does then roll over too much, then a little bit shoulder 4, 1 touch of the inside leg, and then the outside rein, and 1 touch of the inside leg, active, active, 2. That's right, correct. Good, now transition trot to walk on into trot again, and keep that active step, and the pole remains the highest point, and touch, 2, 3, and walk. That's it. Okay, walk for a few more steps than that, 3 steps, 4 steps. And back to walk, 2, 3, and trot again. That's it. So that you have that constancy of the outline, or that constancy of the lateral flexion at the pole to the inside. Correct. And then again, when you're ready, you come trot to walk, and then 3 or 4 steps walk, and then trot again. Correct. And trot, 2, 3, 4. Right, good. Just be careful there. You did set off to trot, then he overstepped, yeah? And rather than coming with a more active hind leg stepping under, he pushed with the hind leg. That's it. And trot, 2, 3, 4. Good. So after you've gone past these 2 jumps, we'll change the rein. Do the same on the other rein. Up, 2, 3, 4. Touch, 2, 3, 4. Relaxed in the hip. Relaxed in your thigh contact with the saddle. That's it. Very often, you know, with these model dressage saddles, they have blocks and one gets stuck behind the block. Yeah, if you have a looser hip, a bit of fresh air under your thigh, then you can have an activating action of your leg without constant pressure. That's it, super. Then back to walk again, and active and soft. That's it. And then pole up and nose forward. Yeah, good. So the reminder you may have to give him from time to time within that work, saying to him, hey, stay up, is a momentary touch, not a constant pressure. So you just remind him to stay up. And it might be from a touch of the leg. It might be from a little bracing of the back and a touch of the outside rein. You say to him, stay up. That's it. And he stays constant. And then trot again. Super. Good. Now we're going to change the theme from trot to walk on it to trot again. We're going to change to trot, canter, canter, trot transitions. So as your preparation for canter, you make your position statement very clear. You sit to the inside edge of the saddle, and then at some point you step into canter. And for me, the stepping into canter is a feeling of dancing into canter, stepping into my inside stirrup, rather than just giving an outside leg signal. That's it, a bigger canter, an expression. Come, 2, 3, and then if he comes a bit too short in the neck, yeah, keep the hand down, but make the correction through your body language again. That's better there. So you don't raise your arm there. That's it. Keep your hip relaxed again and touch. That's it. And then coming back to trot with the pole staying up and nose forward. And release, 2, 3, 4, touch, 2, 3, 4, and then position for canter, and then step into canter again. Right, okay. And there was a little bit of a pushing of the hind leg rather than stepping under. So a little bit more from your hip and your seat next time, a little bit less from the leg. And then you come back to trot again. 2, 3, 4, up, 2, 3, 4. And then position your hips and then take the first step into canter. Right, correct, good. 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 And then back to trot again, we change the rein. 2, 3, 4, touch, 2, 3, 4, right. I remember going back to the years ago, I was talking about my experience at Los Angeles, and the horse that I had at the time, my trainer, and we used to do a lot of these transitions, trot to canter, canter, trot, trot, canter, and from medium trot to medium canter to medium trot, always with that constancy of outline and on a contact which was constant but not pressure. Up, 2, 3, 4. Position your hips for canter and step into canter again. Yeah. Good. And once you have perhaps reminded him to sit up, reminded him to carry the pole up, nose forward, then you drop your hand again. And then just make sure there, for example, there's a bit of confusion, stay on the inside of the saddle, keep the pressure down into your left stirrup, sit to the left. I always talk about sitting on the inside edge of the saddle, slightly lighter contact, remind him to stay up from a touch of your leg and a touch of the leg. That's it. And then, good. And back to trot again, up, and trot, 2, 3, 4. Slightly lengthen your rein. You're tending to creep up the rein a bit, and that makes the neck a bit shorter. Good. And canter again. Right. And don't get the neck too short. Up and then out, but then drop your hand. That's it. And a little touch of the leg if he goes too low. Then leave that nose forward again. And touch. Good. And then back to trot again. First change the balance, and then nose forward into trot. Good. 2, 3, 4. Right. Good. Okay. Transition to walk. We're going to give him a little rest. Good. And then you can gradually let him stretch forward and down. Appreciate that he needs a recovery moment, so we'll let him stretch forward to the contact. Good, active, extended walk there. I often remind riders as they give their horse a rest and allow them to walk that they do so in a correct way, drawing forward to the contact, a good, active, extended walk. He has a good walk here, a good regular step, no tendency to be lateral in his walk. This is a very good pace that he has here. Good. Okay, so now what we'll work on is in the next phase, we've done what I would refer to as the first phase of the work, trot, canter, canter, trot transitions, trot to walk on into trot again. Now we can work a little bit more in collection and work towards shoulder in and travers and half pass, but all the time with the idea that he's going to remain constant in his outline because he engages the hind leg, because he carries that glass of imaginary champagne on his pole. And when you do have to remind him, hey, sit up, that it's momentary, that you're not lifting your hand higher, higher to get it, okay? And then, as I said before, with your activating leg, it's not a constant hassle, hassle, hassle. It's I call it touch 2, 3, 4. It's just a reminder every few strides, yeah? And I'd say every 4 strides as a basic principle. It may be less than that is required. It may be sometimes more, but it mustn't be a constant hassling. And talk about keeping the hip relaxed so you get a bit of fresh air under your thigh. One of the analogies I sometimes use is an athlete can't perform in tight clothing. If the hips are tight, if the leg is tight, the thighs clamped on, that restricts the horse's movement. If I open the hip and relax the hip, then I allow the movement. Yeah? And it's just a case then of being aware of my position in the saddle, aware of the tendency to slip to the outside. So I keep within the system, putting myself back to the inside. Okay? So let's gather him up and work back into the trot. And within this trot work, shoulder in, travers, half pass. I won't direct you as such. I'll observe you as you're doing that. Yeah, and even before you set off into the trot, slightly shoulder fore, activate once with the left leg, that he, in the collected walk, or in the walk before you trot, doesn't drop behind the vertical, that he stays up there. That's it. Stays up there. And then you get the right moment and touch, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, yeah. So that first step into trot could have been a little bit more active. Touch of the inside leg. Touch him once. Touch him once. Maybe touch him on the shoulder with the whip on the right side. Touch him. That he brings his withers up. Up, 2, 3, 4. Right. Good. Now come down the imaginary long side and shoulder in. Sit to the left. Raise the bit on the left side. Pole flexion left. Correct. Correct. Good. Active in the step. Up, 2, 3, 4. Touch, 2, 3, 4. That's right. Good. And then start off this time in shoulder in, and then convert that into travers, or in effect to half pass. That's right. Good. And now travers. correct. Up, 2, 3, 4. Then straighten into shoulder 4 again, and then corner, and then short side, and active in the step there, and drop your hand, active in the step, and drop your hand. That's right, correct, good. Good, this time from shoulder in to half pass. And again that he stays up and forward, touch 2, 3, 4, up 2, 3, 4. He's lost his step once. That's it, good, good. And then as you move to the right now, you move across the saddle to the right, you relax your hip, you touch once with your inside leg, shoulder in again here, raise the bit slightly on the inside, so you keep the clear pole flexion, that's correct, good. So the inside rein is slightly lifted, and your inside hip relaxed, and touch occasionally with your inside leg, but not all the time, hassle, hassle, hassle. Good, and we start in shoulder in, then we convert it into travers. Up, 2, 3, 4, sitting on the right-hand side, and then convert it into travers, and you stay on the right side and slightly lean to the right and step to the right. That's it. Correct. Good. Good. And then on the other side, we start in shoulder in, and then we turn that into half pass. A lovely outline there. That's good. He stays up and forward, and then you convert that into half pass, and he stays up and forward and active. 2, 3, 4, touch 2, 3, 4, touch 2, 3, 4. That's it, correct. And then in the short side, let his nose forward a little bit, let him be more expressive, but a touch of the leg to get that nose forward rather than a lifting of the arm. That's it, correct. Good. And now we're just going to work towards the medium trot. So as you come through the short side, you sit to the left, you start off in a little bit shoulder in, and for a few steps, and then straighten on the long side and into medium trot. So we usually a few steps shoulder in, that's right, and then straighten and medium trot. Up, 2, 3, 4, up, and back to shoulder in again at the end, that's right, without shortening the neck. Good. And this time, coming through the short side, a little bit shoulder in, then the diagonal. In your mind, change your rising diagonal at the beginning, so onto the diagonal, correct, and then straighten, and then medium trot. Left hand out a bit, right leg active. Left hand out a bit, that's right. When I say left hand out a bit, it's because you've become your new outside rein. So the idea is to free up the shoulder there, to get a bit more expression to the step. Now we can do it down the long side. Shoulder in as the preparation slightly. Good, clear in the pole, then straighten, and then medium, and left hand away from the neck, and active right leg. Right, good, and then back to collection. Good. And this time, from the corner onto the diagonal, and this time extended trot, and back to walk at the end, but with a constancy of the outline. Good. Up, 2, 3, 4. Inside leg, inside leg, inside leg. And then back to walk, pole up, nose forward. Correct. So you're just a little bit inclined at the end of the extended trot there to roll over and lean on the front end. You've got to be aware of that, and as you finish the extended, a little bit into shoulder in or into shoulder 4 to be able to keep an active inside hind leg and the pole up, nose forward. Okay? Let's work the canter now. Similar idea in the canter. We use the shoulder 4 as a preparation, keeping that clear. Relaxed pole flexion, but with the pole up, nose forward, active hind leg. And then we can take that across into the half pass, and then same idea when we then want to change the rein. We can go from through a flying change, but the same sort of preparation for the flying change. So when you're ready, position your hips, position your body for left canter. Start the canter from your inside hip, active, active, and then your first canter step from your position and your body language. Yeah. And step. Correct. Active. Touch once and take your leg off. That's it. If you do have to remind him to be active, I say touch and take your leg off. Don't hold your leg clamped on. That's right. Pole up, nose forward. When you've raised the withers up slightly and said to him, stay up, then drop your hands. That's it. So you're not actually carrying him with your hand. There. This is good. This is good. Yeah. And when you need to activate him, relax your hip, have a looser thigh, but a little touch of your leg at the girth, whether that be the inside leg or the outside leg, it should be close to the girth. There, good. Now, having prepared it, then come into half pass and sit to the left and touch with the left leg, active, and touch with the left leg once, active. Right, correct, good, good. Right, we'll do that once more, and then you can go through the short side to a flying change. Allow the shoulder to lead slightly. That's better. There. That's better. Good. And then we can come into the change of rein with a flying change. Active. One touch. And then drop your hand. One touch. Active. That's it. And change. Good. And then sit on the right-hand edge of the saddle, move across quite obviously, so you're sitting on the right-hand edge. That allows the right leg to be longer, the inside leg to be a bit longer. That's right. Good. That acceptance of the pole flexion, but without him rolling over. Touch once with your leg again. Say to him, sit up. Without using your arms, sit up. There. And then you can do the half pass. Yeah. Yeah. One touch. Inside leg. One touch. Correct. Good. Good. And then change the rein on the diagonal with a flying change. First of all, get him dead straight, uphill, pole up, nose forward, and then change. Good. Correct. Good. Okay. Now we're carrying ourselves quite nicely here, so you could start without me telling you exactly what to do some series changes, but that same idea of pole up, withers up, active hind leg, and straightness. Be careful you don't gradually creep up into a shorter rein that ends up making his neck too short. We've got to keep him up but out. Correct. Straight, uphill, and change. 2, 3, 4, and change. 2, 3, 4, and change. 2. Good. That was well ridden. You maintained the straightness. You weren't twisting your body. That was very good. So I always say, a bit like in the cross country, look for Doris. I say in the cross country, look to a point at the end. So you really focus on the straightness and the uphill. Keep the pole flexions minimal. Keep him dead straight. Correct. Good. Well done. Good. Correct. Good. Yeah. Okay, so the preparation was a little bit late. Good. A little bit of confusion from yours. Let's do those again. So in the preparation phase, first of all, make your position very clear. Sit on the inside edge of the saddle. Get the straightness, the engagement, the uphill, and then start your changes. Yeah. 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 Yeah, that's it. Good. Okay. Let's let him stretch and relax, and yeah, we'll let him have a recovery there. You say? Well, I mean, you eventually beat me to it, so you came back to walk before I had a session of letting him stretch in the canter, to be perfectly honest. After the work he'd just done then, I felt that he needed then a bit of a recovery in his top line, and so you would let him stretch, but all the time, a bit like with the walk before, that it isn't just him dropping his head and coming behind, but rather going to the contact. Yeah? That was good. So when you're working on those changes, the second load of twos here, the line of twos, yeah, you had him straighter, more connected from the beginning, and then you had him much more straight and clear in his changes. When you came off the left rein, he wasn't first straight and engaged and uphill before you started to do your change sequences. And I always use that expression, straight, uphill, and change. Yeah, that 1, 2, 3 process. Yeah. The other point that I've been emphasizing all the while, and I think he's probably done enough here today, but is to stay relaxed in your hips so that you get a bit of fresh air, I say, under your thigh. Yeah?
I feel like that's going to fix all my problems.
Right. Yeah. So as a starting point, I always talk in an every 4-stride rhythm. Touch, 2, 3, 4, touch. In the canter, every 4 strides, a little touch, yeah, which is a touch rather than a pressure, pressure, pressure all the time, working, 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 yeah? And then you've got the option of turning the volume up or turning it down. And of course, them carrying themselves with the withers up, pole up, engaged, it's hard work. Yeah, so they can't go on and on and on. So then you have to let them have a stretch, as I suggested there, and then you came back to walk, but you could have given him a stretch in the canter, that's fine too. Yeah. But what we don't want is one where you're carrying him with a short neck and rolled over, yeah, because then he's not developing his top line muscles, as well as the habit of carrying himself. My analogy of the glass of champagne sitting up there is a good one to have. Yeah, and that's the point of emphasis that I have in the preparation for the test. Okay, well done.